Hello and welcome to another episode of the Plus 63 HP podcast, where we review a couple of the really cool shows on streaming channels, movies, and the like. Give our opinions and see whether you should watch it and provide you context when you should watch it too. I'm alongside two of my bestest best friends. I'm going to start with the guy with the pink headset, Chubax.
I am Chubax. Welcome to our show. Hope you're having fun. You can call me Big Daddy.
We always call him Chubax. Our other bestest
Chewy.
best friends in the show as well is RJ.
Hello, everyone. Sending love all the way from the Philippines.
A little housekeeping before we start. Our channel is on the YouTube, so if you want to watch along, you can search plus 63 HP on that search bar in YouTube, or launch it from your browser. Just type in bit.ly/plus 63 HP. We are on Twitter as well. You can interact with all the bro chat shows. Just follow at plus 63 HP. It's also our handle on Instagram, so we'll be posting thumbnails and clips there as well. If you don't want to see us, you can listen to us over your podcast app of choice. We are now on every single podcasting platform that you can think of, from Pandora, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, everywhere. So just search plus 6 or HP there. Next week, we are going to continue on discussing the shows that we've been discussing week on week the past couple of weeks. That's a lot of weeks in a sentence, but we are still going to continue discussing Hawkeye, The Wheel of Time, but currently in the docket, a movie on Netflix that we'll be discussing on next week's episode is 14 Peaks. Nothing is Impossible. That's about a Nepalese mountaineering person that scaled 14 of the 8,000-meter high mountains,
Or is attempting to.
or is attempting
we
to.
haven't seen the ending. So.
Yeah, to scale the 14 of the highest peaks in the world. Housekeeping done. This week again, I'm very, very excited to continue the discussion of two of a very, very cool series that is coming out week on week. Hawkeye on Disney Plus, Wheel of Time on Prime Video. With two new additions special for this week, we're going to discuss Venom, Let There Be Carnage, now that it is on video on demand. See if it's a movie for you. Should you rent or buy or steal it from wherever and watch it with your friends and family? And we're going to close out the episode by discussing fairly interesting take on kind of religious, spiritual, heaven and hell discussions around Hellbound, which is a Korean series out on Netflix. So, right, we're just gonna dive in because we have a lot of stuff to discuss for this week. We're gonna start with a light, fun series, Hawkeye. It's a holiday themed action adventure set in the MCU. Episode 3 is entitled Echoes, directed by Bert and Bertie, written by Kathy Matheson and Tanner Bean, released on the 1st of December, so just last Wednesday. Overall plot and synopsis of this episode is: we start with Kate Bishop and Hawkeye, Clint Barton, trying to escape from being caught by the tracksuit mafia. They finally meet the leader of this particular group, Echo, which is very interestingly the first deaf and mute, but also a paraplegic character in the MCU. So that's super badass. She's a strong female, and the episode kind of showed that she had skills much like the Taskmaster, where when she can copy whatever that she sees move wise. So
the Taskmaster.
And yeah, so just like much like Taskmaster, but she is deaf. She is mute. She has one prosthetic leg, and she's still kicking everybody's ass and leading this group of fairly humorous but still menacing tracksuit mafia gangsters.
I love the name.
Um,
I'm sorry.
yeah. So eventually lots of action ensues. I think this is one of the more adventurous set pieces that we've had in the series so far, because you have a very cool tracking shot of a car chase. We have lots of trick arrows. We have lots of ways to combining said trick arrows to elude or defeat certain enemies, and then we end up back in Kate's mom's home, so she can research more about the people and the names that you heard about in the tracksuit mafia, and see how they can further distance themselves from the suit, which is Ronin, the Ronin suit, which is why the tracksuit mafia and Echo is trying to capture and kill everybody that is associated with the Ronin character. Cool. All right, that's the general synopsis. We're gonna go dive deep into it. Chubax, what do you think about the? What did you think about the episode this week?
I loved it. This one picked up a lot from the LARPers episode last week,
Mm-hmm.
and it's everything I want. There's Christmassy. There's the action. The payoffs are good. Like Maya Lopez, my God, she's really the actress. Alakwa Cox is really deaf, and
Yeah.
Oh,
she's
is she?
amazing.
Okay, I didn't
Yeah,
know
so
that.
like my God, I mean, how can you just those the intro scenes with her? How can you not sympathize with her already? And then she's just
Mm.
badass. She's leading everybody. The payoff of waiting for Clint to use his arrows, bow and arrows till episode
Mhm.
3. What a payoff! It's just you see how amazing he's already amazing like without it, but then when once you give it, it's like game over. And he's badass. I like the chemistry with Kate is really phenomenal, and the little things like him complimenting her with with their skill,
Mhm.
and the bow is really good. Um, the trick arrows were even better than I expected.
Oh
Like
man, yeah.
even me, I had the same reaction. Like a plunger arrow, why? And then cat kind of guessed it, so I was like surprised. And then I love the how she immediately connected with Hawkeye with the hearing aid. That was a great touch. Uh, what else did I like?
You mean with Echo, right?
Yeah, when she saw him, and I was
You're
surprised
better off
that
without it.
yeah, I'm kind of surprised that nobody's picking up that he's Ronin. But
Mm. Mhm.
I know, I guess maybe if you're a superhero, it kind of it's hard to in their world it's hard to unify those that you're a killing machine. I
Yeah,
thought
but
I
also like his the Ronin suit is fairly covered, and
yeah,
he killed
Mm.
pretty much everybody. So there wasn't anybody to report back even that
that
little
is
slit
true.
of eye that looks like
Yeah.
Clint Barton's eye. So
Uh,
that's what my justification why people don't
for that.
know who Ronin is.
I thought
Well, I think
during
there's more than
oh
that. I mean, you're already playing as Hawkeye. People know you as Hawkeye. It's like it's
why have
already,
another
yeah,
identity?
why have
Like yeah.
another pseudonym, or why have another superhero ish character?
And I guess those were
So
dark times during the blip. So everybody was
mhm.
fucked up then. And then I love it's the little things that I love. Is like the one thing that Hawkeye has really is like grounded. Like in the other series, like there was some emotional stuff, but it was more personal
Mm-hmm.
stakes. Here, he
Mm-hmm.
has a
Mhm.
family. That scene
Mm-hmm.
in the kitchen with him just
Yep.
talking to his sons, like, "I'll be home," and then it's okay, Dad. You don't have to be home.
Mm.
Like, and then he's always icing up, like, because the shit hurts. So it's amazing. I just hate the ending because I thought it was gonna go on. I didn't know that I was at the end of the episode. So it's like, oh,
Yeah,
son
it
of
Oh
a
is.
yeah.
bitch. Like, yeah, but yeah, it's so good. I love that it's so Christmassy and holiday. It's a little light and action. And what else? The Pim Arrow was amazing. But
Yeah, dude, the Pim Arrow.
yeah, so that's it for me. I love the Tracksuit Mafia as well. I can't wait to see where they go with Echo Maya Lopez. So next RJ.
RJ, what do you think about the episode?
I like that. I agree with Chubax. I like this episode better than the one with the LARPers. I felt like it was the LARPer episode was just a bit, I don't know,
I feel like
forced.
yeah.
Yeah, filler. Whereas this one made a lot of sense. You learned a little bit more about who they're really up against because in the previous first two episodes, your enemies were mostly, yes, the tracksuit mafia, um, typically Russian accents who are in a way very very funny, which is why I actually liked it. I like their
Bro.
yeah.
Yeah, good
Diba?
good humor.
And what I liked about this particular episode was when he was talking to Clint was talking to Kate in a, I guess it was a coffee shop
Or a
or a
diner or
basic
something. Yeah.
diner, and she was really saying, you know what your issue is? Your issue is your branding.
Branding.
See, right? And she starts scribbling on a piece of tissue or paper, and you get to see what Hawkeye looks like in the
Classic Hawkeye.
comics. The classic Hawkeye with the
They could have
with
made
with the
her a
hawk
little
wings
better
and the H on the
artist.
forehead. Right?
H
Pretty awesome.
for
I
Hawkeye.
mean, they could have made her a little better artist, but then again, she already has
Yeah, but
everything. She's hot.
it
She's pretty.
yes.
She's tall. She's
Talented.
rich. She's
Yeah.
like she knows every
Fencing,
martial arts.
arts, archery.
Mm.
So I like that touch that they didn't give her a comic book. Usually they do that, right? Like it started with like Peter Parker, Spider Man. His drawing is from an artist from Marvel. So that was funny.
That's right. Yeah, but yeah,
Okay.
overall, it's a good series to watch so far, especially coming into the holidays. You get to see Clint Barton's desire to end this quickly. Let me, just stay here. Let me end this quickly. I gotta go back and celebrate Christmas with my family. They've already started building the gingerbread houses without me, stuff like that. But I also applaud that the family super appreciates they understand and they appreciate him as Hawkeye, so they know that he's not gonna be here because he's busy
Yeah,
saving the
they're
world.
very sympathetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about
It's
you, John?
so again, we're all in the same boat. I think this is the best episode so far for two major reasons. The first one is a lot of action in this episode. There's like the fight scene in the toy place in the headquarters of the tracksuit mafia. There is the chase scene too, and then you get to slow down with a little bit of time with Hawkeye's family, with Kate transcribing the phone call, and then allusions of like perceived weakness of Clint with him losing his hearing and then using it to his advantage from the enemy itself, herself, Echo. The second layer why I love this episode so much, because there's a lot of Easter eggs and a lot of callbacks, and even without researching other, like the new rock stars, the emergency awesome, without watching those, you could really see that there's so many they callbacks, like they drop Black Widow there. They clarify that Clint is hard of hearing, not deaf. That's why he only has a basic ASL
So
and
yeah, what
doesn't
does
know
that mean? He can't hear on one side, right? And then some hearing on the left that can be enhanced with the
Yes.
thing. Because once it's gone,
Yes.
he's almost
Mhm.
like he couldn't
Totally
hear at all.
deaf.
So
Yeah.
Exactly. So he is still losing his hearing. Like you can see that he, when he turns off the hearing aid,
Like
it's still
totally
muffled.
nothing.
So which
Yeah.
is kind of cool. So
Oh yeah,
I
not totally
the
nothing. Sorry.
the Pym arrow is kind of essentially a nod that Hank Pym is working back with the Avengers, or whomever this group is managing the Avengers now, because it, that wasn't there before, right?
Yeah.
So it was a callback to the fight in Civil War, where
he worked
what do
with
you call this?
God.
And well, that's one where he that's in Civil War.
Civil War.
He
Got-
made Ant-Man into an arrow, but also when Ant-Man threw the shrank a fuel truck, and then he threw the giant thing on the fuel truck, and the fuel truck blew up and then like expanded and jumped. So
Expand.
lots of callbacks.
Yeah.
But it's all again the car scene was great. The comedy with the trick arrows was great. The Easter eggs about the costume is great in the diner. But also uh the thing that I got excited the most was when this episode started and they started providing the backstory of Echo, about, you know, she, it's a inspirational story that, people can overcome some physical deficiencies. I cannot talk this more. Physical deficiencies. It can also be their superpower, so that's kind of great. Like, she could never go to a deaf school, so she had to just, make do
Wing
in
it.
a regular
Yeah, I
school.
know. I think
Right?
that scene, that first school scene, I don't think the teacher knew she was deaf.
That's true.
Like
That's
she was
true.
just getting by because of her reading lips and skills.
Yeah. Maybe it's just like either way,
I,
like, if she didn't, if the teacher didn't know that she was deaf, that would have been cooler. But even if she did, and they can't do anything about her, that's another thing. Because, like, she was very impressed. Like, even for a regular kid, she was very smart.
I think she could. I think they didn't know because remember when the teacher was talking and she couldn't read everything. Because if the teacher knew that she was reading lips, she'd probably try an effort to at least slow down a little bit, or you know how
Maybe,
normal
yeah.
people are, like especially teachers, they would adjust immediately, they or even maybe overly adjust to somebody in need,
Hmm.
or with a
Hopefully,
disability.
yeah.
But she was just, I love that small touches, like she wasn't catching every other word and she's just using context clues, but she was able to answer everything.
Answer it, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, one thing is, like, they're trying to provide you with an antagonist that is worth your time, because the best antagonists are the ones that you could also understand their side. So that's one.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm.
also, this is a backdoor pilot because Echo will have her own
Series.
Disney Plus show. So
Oh,
that's
hopefully she
good
becomes a good guy.
context,
Yeah.
right? But the thing that, everybody on the interrupts is talking about this episode is the quote unquote uncle, because we
Yes.
kind of allude to the reason why Echo hates Ronan, because Ronan killed
Killed her uncle. That's right.
Dad. Her
her
dad.
father.
Oh, is it? I
Yeah,
thought it was
Yeah.
yeah,
uncle.
killed
Okay.
her
Uncle.
father because her father was working for
The
said
uncle.
uncle, and
I don't think it's a
Oh,
real
uncles,
uncle. It's more like what
yeah,
they
it's just like a
call
term.
the boss of the tracksuit mafia.
Yeah.
hmm.
So, and everybody seems to have, seems to believe that it's already a foregone conclusion that that said uncle is Kingpin. So that's kind of great. And Kingpin might have
Ooh,
bought
fuck
the Avengers
it.
Tower. So
Holy
that
shit.
this big bad might be the one that will
Holy.
we'll see in the next
Huh.
few episodes. So that's nice. That's why I really, there's so many layers to this episode that, you're building a world in a very, very grounded way, but also the stakes are very, very high. Like, people say that it's, you know people have been stealing stuff from the Avengers compound because of either the blip or the attack on the Avengers compound. They got the Ronin suit. What else could they have gotten?
And they're
We still
looking for
don't
the
know what the
watch. The watch.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
the
the
watch.
main thing.
Yeah, maybe the watch is simply just
A key.
Tony Stark's suit, like part of the technology of Tony Stark's suit. Maybe that's basic. Everybody seems to think that it's also part of Kang. Like, it is one small tool that kind of will make Kang in year 3000 develop time machines, whatever. But again, those are cool stuff. You're building the world around and raising the stakes. So I'm very excited about the next and package around good action.
And we haven't even seen
Yeah.
we haven't even seen Yelena.
Yelena Belova. It's like,
Yeah.
the trailer for the next episode. There's like a ninja person with, like, covered up, that, it might be her. But either way, it's like the show is super fun. It's not super complex. I love the Black Widow callbacks. Like really making sure, like, yeah, Black Widow did kill Ronan by saving Clint.
That's
Bringing
right.
back Clint. So,
I even love
um,
the he didn't get the challenger.
and
And
I'm not a total challenger and still gets totaled anyway. And the USB arrow.
Yeah.
That was a
throwback to
funny,
Avengers
funny.
also.
That was a super
Distract.
funny bit. I was like a USB arrow, and I thought it would be like they'll see a laptop somewhere or whatever. No, that was just like literally no. It's like I'm gonna shoot you with a
I
USB
think that
arrow.
would have still hurt though.
Yeah, I was like
No, but it literally bounced off the guy.
Yeah, but I mean, whatever. There's
the
still
velocity.
an arrow behind it. You know what I mean?
That's
Yeah.
true. There still should be a force.
I guess he wasn't trying to
Yeah,
kill him anyway. So
yeah.
maybe
And
we
before
should
we
pull
move on,
that.
it's like I also like the idea that Kazi, right? In the comic books, Kazi the clown is kind of like essentially the one of the top dogs in the tracksuit mafia. I like that. He seems more than just a thug,
Mm.
more than
Yeah,
just like a hired gun. Like
like he
he
cares about
signs,
Echo. Yeah,
he cares about Echo, he understands Uncle, he understands the politics. So he has the eye on the prize. Like, the prize
if
is
it
get the watch, get the fucking watch and leave, not kill Clint Barton. So
Yeah.
if it's
it's
Kingpin
great.
though, how do you get any better than Vincent D'Onofrio? Unless it's him,
It is. I mean, it
Uh,
might be Vincent D'Onofrio.
then I'm fucking all in, baby.
Yeah,
I'm all
it's
in.
good. I mean, they're making good decisions about. Again, this is not a top tier show. This is not something that I will ache to watch week on week, but it is one of those like super solid sit down middle of your week. Watch a quick. That's probably I hate these quick episodes, but
It's
fine.
good content for us.
Right. Yep. Last thoughts before we move to the next episode.
Uh, I'm good. I said all. I'm just excited for next week.
Same
Same.
here. Cool.
The wait
Um,
actually is quite difficult for a lot of what we're actually watching.
oh yeah.
I think I personally got spoiled in watching shows in one go at one
Mhm.
go, because you normally when it comes out on streaming, you have season one and then you have at least 10 episodes to get you by. Now it's releasing week upon week and you're just like, oh man. So yeah, I'm excited. When
Uh,
does it normally come out?
Wednesday.
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays.
So
Okay.
it's
So Wednesdays for
Wednesdays
Hawkeye.
midnight Pacific time. So that's 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So supposedly like 3 p.m. Philippine time.
All right. All right.
I
Yeah.
watch it every Friday because so that kids can spend time with it. It's our
Nice.
Friday show.
Well, that is Hawkeye. Will be back next week for episode 4. Hopefully, a couple of the Easter eggs that were alluded to this week and the previous weeks will bear fruit. Like, getting very excited about this blue streak of electricity in the trailer that I saw. I don't know if that's maybe not an electro, but maybe um one of the Stark tech or Black Widow tech that has been co-opted by Uncle. Right. So it's gonna be fun. Um but for the next series that we're gonna talk about, Wheel of Time, I'm gonna pass the baton to Chubax to give us a little bit of a plot synopsis of what he remembers about episode 5 of Wheel of Time, which is entitled
What's that? I have it here.
Blood Calls
Blood.
Flood.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically we moved this setting to Tarval. How do you pronounce it? I keep sticking to my original pronunciations when I was reading
Yeah,
the book.
so in that's the other thing too. It's interesting that they are pronouncing it Tarvalon, but in the
Tarvalon.
audiobooks
Audio,
it's
it's Tar.
Tarvalon,
Yeah, I know.
right?
So basically most of the groups find themselves in Tarval on this episode, except for Egwene and
Perrin.
Perrin. So, anyways, let's start with Moraine. Moraine and the other Aes Sedai head back to Tarvalon with their and they basically hold the wake or funeral for the fallen ones. We focus on
Hmm.
Stepin, the warder whose Aes Sedai died last episode, and how it just breaks,
Karini.
yeah, breaks a warder
Oh.
when their Aes Sedai died. I think they did say that their their bond is greater than husbands and wives, right? Husband and wife
Mhm.
better than
Yeah.
Mm.
mothers and daughters, sons. So it's really you can see how broken he is and like how empty his life became. And they were trying to push him to become a warder of Alana, and he basically he faked it. He said he would, and then something happened.
Mhm.
We'll leave it at that. And then Rand and Matt end up in Tarvalon as well, but hiding in an inn. And Matt's getting worse. He's doing his Gollum-esque approach,
Mhm.
and just getting very temperamental and sick. And Rand is just trying to get by. They see the false dragon Logain being brought in, and they meet another member of the future
Yep.
future parlor member, Loyal.
Loyal.
Yeah, and
The
then
Ogier.
the Ogier,
The
yeah,
Ogier.
and then Nynaeve's also like going through where everybody's expecting great things for her already, pressure and her life. She's trying to hold on to her old life, and everybody's expecting her to be a novice because of the power she showed last episode. And then she was able to find Rand, which surprised me, but we'll get to that later. And then Egwene
Mhm.
and Perrin were captured by the Children of the Light,
The
and
White Cloaks.
yeah, and then they were able to escape. I'm trying to skirt along spoilers so that you can still be surprised, but that was basically the episode. And then something unfortunate happens, and then we have a emotional ending. And that's episode 5, or just 3 more episodes for season 1. I hope it's
Oh
also the
wow.
end of the book also. And so that was the recap. Let's start with Jong. What did you think?
So I'm very impressed with the series. Like I've consistently the past 5 episodes they've done a lot of culling of the material. Like they skipped a lot of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but I was a big fan of it for pacing. This for me is one of the weaker episodes, only because they're tackling more of the a lot of the episodes is about politics and relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's not a lot of action here, right? So let's start with um you start with the least touched upon. Like in when Moraine, Lan, and Egwene get to the tower, Egwene was hid
Nynaeve.
because of oh sorry,
Nynaeve.
Nynaeve
Nynaeve.
was being hidden because they like Moraine and Land did not want Egwene to be fought
Swept in
over.
Or
politics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
influenced by
Hmm.
influence, and the
influence.
thing with the influence is it might kind of not maximize her true strength. Like because she is there's a little bit of conversation about the immense power that she saw was, oh, immense power. Ooh, that's good. That is raw power. Let's put her into green to be the fighting Aja. But the red will be like, oh, but she doesn't like she doesn't like authority, or she doesn't like rule breakers. We feel that she will be better if
Right.
everybody follows her rules, so she put her on the red Aja. But he healed everybody, so let's put her on the yellow Aja. So that's
Yellow. Yeah.
right. So I appreciated that fact. But then again, it's a lot about something that it's 5 episodes in. Not a lot of people are super into the nuances of the houses yet. We haven't even
Colors, yeah.
seen the Amerlin seat yet too, so it's kind of it's just touching upon the levels that there is also conflicts within the organizations that we're supposed to be fighting for everybody else or protecting everybody else. The next one is also like Lan and Matt getting to. I'm gonna say Tarvalin because
Yeah, I know.
that's
That's
always been like the book,
me too.
right? So the or in my audiobook, but getting to Tarvalin, they did not go directly to the White Tower because again, you know, Rand was thinking like, hey, what will happen to us, particularly Matt, if they realize that
He can if
he's
he can channel.
channeling? Are is people trustworthy, right? So that's another kind of like level that was touched upon there that I really really like. A lot of connections between, again, this episode. Those were like two minor storylines in the episode. Most of the storyline was telling about the warder and Aes Sedai connection, and then we kind of get a little bit more context that greens can have more than one. The bond is extremely strong.
It's more
How
like
Aes
they want
Sedai,
more than one.
And then
oh
the
yeah, they
Reds
want
don't
more
like.
than one,
Yeah.
and then the Reds don't
Want
have
even one.
one even one. So things are getting clarified, and then like what you mentioned, the bond is extremely strong. That the thing that I will um touch upon, that it's not necessarily a spoiler, but because we talked about it in other reviews, is we were talking in the previous episode when they gentled Logain, the false
Mhm.
dragon. We did mention about that, how empty you'd be once you've touched the source of the power, and it's been taken away from you. Like your life is no longer a life worth living. And that's kind of what it is equivalent towards the warders. It's their bond with their Aes Sedai. Like the Aes Sedai, when they find and bind with a particular warder, it's not just because of their skill. There's something about them that will be kind of connected with them forever. So Stepin was just he lost his dad. He was just a drunk fighting people, and then eventually fought Karenni, and then Karenni kind of like saw the potential in him, and ever since he was trying to be worthy
Below.
of her presence. And that's kind of like, that's even better than raw talent, because like raw talent is cool, but there's a limit if you don't have that person that can keep on growing with you. So that's cool as well. And then lastly, when Egwene and Perrin got captured by the White Cloaks, and then the tests like on how to figure out or how to force people that have channeling power, and why they want Aes Sedai and people that can channel to be eradicated in the world, is kind of like, it makes sense a little bit that when God made people, it's unfair to have some people to be that more powerful, because that power will eventually be used to corrupt or used against weaker people, right? So um kind of made sense, but forcing
Kind
people
of
to channel so that you can
still
yeah.
still flimsy in a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
still
still
flawed, it's
weak.
still
Yeah.
fanatical, but um so all of those storylines is in one, what, 48, 42 minute
Something.
episode.
Yeah.
So it was a little rough. I did not particularly like that although it's very, very emotional, the warders and what they've gone through, because you start the episode with a procession awake for all of the lost Aes Sedai, and then we end with something else. But um, they spent a little too much on the White Tower politics and the
Not on the
warders, that
boys.
and then you literally see just like, oh, Rand bumped into Loyal in a library. He mentioned about the person that he was looking for. Loyal went to the tower, found Nynaeve, and then brought Nynaeve back like that. Like, it's super quick. I'm sure that there's like a longer cut of that, but that was a little bit too convenient. But I understand, they need to move the story along. I just wish that they kind of like shortened the White Tower stuff, and then provided a little bit more balanced look on how the group is starting to get together. I will end with the things that I particularly didn't like. One, Loyal, the Ogier in the book, was very, very. He's essentially a monster, like a boar face, but very, very smart. Um, I think my TV is too big because when I was watching Loyal in this show, I was
Looks
like,
small.
oof. No, I think that you can't make them too big because it's prosthesis rather than CGI. But oof, those the teeth was a little bit too fake. The makeup was a little too fake. The hair, I know they're trying to make it a little bit more
Eh,
modernized.
The
Didn't
colors
work
didn't
too much for
didn't
me.
didn't sync up for me also. I think if they got the
But I
Mm.
know it's
colors right, it would have been more realistic or more
but
real looking.
it's also hard because again, it's hard to make a fucking talking monster
Yeah.
be part of a crew. So
But I mean, it's
I think
disappointing because they did the Trolloc so good,
Actually.
right?
but the
And then
Trollocs you never look at the Trolloc
that long while
that long. So
dialogue.
that I
Okay.
understand how they can make, you can cheat a little bit with
Yeah.
crappy prosthesis and then CGI it a little bit more and then pick the correct frames. I know Loyal is going to be front and center. So I just thought that maybe this is a decision where, he was just a big dude, right? Right.
I
So,
did like his voice though.
oh yeah.
Mm.
The
Yeah, that's
acting was
cool.
good.
And the last bit that I was going to kind of touch upon is harping on what we've talked about in the previous 4 episodes. Dude, like Ice Dice and Warriors from my estimation, you want them to be larger than life. Like you want them to have one Ice Die to battle the entire army. And then for the better part or 4 episodes, how many times did fucking Moraine almost die? And then land almost like get injured and almost die. And look at all these Icy Dice and warders dying. Like there's um they're terribly underpowered in this particular, at least in the first 5 episodes.
Okay.
They're becoming a little bit more cool, but for the most part, all of us seeing about Aes Sedai and Warders are death and injury. And so that's the only thing that I'm missing in this series. But
Or maybe
I
they're just, their branding is so good that when you say, oh, that person's an Aes Sedai, that person alone can take over hundreds of enemies by themselves. Or one can turn the tide of war, which is
Mhm.
what they said in the first episode. Right. I mean, true, maybe that's true enough, but maybe that's their branding,
Yeah.
No, I
in
think
that
also they
sense.
kind of or we kind of they couldn't show how many people were attacking, but I think it was an army. So but
Mhm.
In episode 4, you mean, right?
yeah, so
Yeah.
there were
Yeah.
so many
No,
that
but
attacked.
even
So
and you had Logain that was supposed to be the first false dragon too. It's just more of the
Mm.
idea that even in I'm trying to really force the book description out of my head and keep with the series, and then even
Mhm.
with the series, it's like you're tired, but you held off armies. It's like, yeah, this dude is really powerful. Like when we're talking about Karenni, right? Um, and then we had an army, and then multiple Aes Sedai and Warders died. So that's the only kind of, even if it was an ambush, right? Was
they
something.
should have
But again, it's because it might be just they're trying to humanize all of these people. They forcefully underpowered um some of the characters for the series to make it a little bit more,
well,
balanced, right? A little bit more
Lauren did say
stakes.
that the Ice now are weaker than before.
Thousands of years before,
Yeah,
yeah.
Mm.
so
Yeah. Yeah. But okay, that's my stuff. Jay, what do you think about the episode?
I like the fact that it explained a lot of things that were initially just guesses in my head prior to this episode. The politics became more clear or evident. Remember when the Green Aes Sedai went to Moraine's room and warned her that, oh, you'll have two powerful enemies, so you should actually start taking the seat. And she's like, I honestly didn't care about the seat at all.
Never did.
Never did. I don't mind. I'm always out anyway. And she doesn't like staying there because she's not into the power. And she explained it as well to naive that everyone has their own agenda. They have their own desire, their own um intention. So she just really wants them to be to protect her, but obviously she still went out because I feel that she wasn't really imprisoned. She was just told, like, it's best for you to stay here, because if you're out there, the sisters will actually look for you. And true enough, the red girl, who my wife calls a drugged up Elsa, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I think it's her cheeks, right?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
cheek. It's a
It's like
cheekbone, like
cheekbones
Elsa. You
so
know what I
high.
mean? So it's like that's why, literally
For me,
like
she looks
Elsa. But
like
anyway,
a much more like a dragon.
that
Like
too.
I
She
for
could be
me
a
a
good
vampire
dragonborn.
is what I was looking.
yeah,
Her eyes are so blue. Yeah.
well
Yeah.
cast though.
So
Looks like she
yeah.
was well cast.
Well cast. She acts very well. She plays the role of a bitch, and she does it fantastically well. Just
But
funny that my wife said,
I
"Oh,
also like that
drugged
you
up
could see that
Elsa."
she cares about her sisters. Like even
She
the ones that
does.
are not red. Like she took it
Mhm.
to heart for was the green one Kearney?
Karini.
Karen.
Corinne. Currently.
Karen, yeah, so, yeah.
Karini. Yeah.
That the first and
So
the last one gonna have a problem with.
yeah, that's true. That's true. No, but overall, it explained a lot about how, because in the beginning, if I weren't with you guys and you guys weren't explaining what's happening, um, I'd be guessing like Aes Sedai is like one entire group and they're all united. And here you'll see that yeah, they're united by name, but they have their own uh, styles. They have their own purpose. They have their own political ambition, I suppose. No, I agree with Jong that the meeting of Nynaeve and Rand was like, "Hi, Randolph. You remember you told me that you were looking for a girl. Here she is." I was like,
What?
"Oh,
I just
that's
looked for a girl with a braid and brought her here.
yeah." No. And he was still somewhat explaining, and they already started hugging. "Oh, you're alive," and da da da. I was like, "Wow, that's so convenient." Just when the red girl tells her to go outside, the persimmons are in season, and then she finds this Ogier and joins him and brings him straight off to Rand with no questions asked. Yeah, I felt that if they could have spent even 2-3 minutes of a conversation to make more sense rather than
Yes.
an instant delivery.
For my issue
Um,
there was Moraine being the spy master having eyes and ears
not
everywhere.
knowing.
She should have caught him
No.
first. She
So,
should have
but
caught
That's
him
also,
true.
first.
she's like, she said, like, I have, if they go through the gates, I will know. Like, they went through the gates, bro.
Yeah.
Yes, and they did, and they
And
still
They've
she
been
still
here
doesn't
for a
know.
bit.
I wish they did just
Mm.
a book comment, Jay. In the book, Moraine gave the boys each a coin,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
and it
Like an emblem
Tracker.
no,
for
it's
to
like
pass.
just like like a silver mark or something,
Okay.
which for them was
Okay.
expensive because they're
Mm-hmm.
they're they're small town folk, and they kept it, and she can track it. So
Oh,
that's how she knows. Oh, the two over there. Like even if they're
naughty,
far,
naughty.
she doesn't know how where they are exactly, but she can feel. Oh, there's two over in the north, one's over here. So she knows that
Mm.
they're alive or something like that. But
Okay.
yeah, they
Okay.
skipped it here.
So they had that. What do you call that? Apple has that tracker.
Air tag.
The air
AirTag.
tag.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
man, she had that all the way back there. Okay, awesome. No, but I also want to say something about the Ogier. Um it didn't fit the scene. I think the way he looks. Um they could have worked a little bit more on his costume because it felt like Sesame Street ish character comes out and he's supposed to be scary because that he made Rand draw his
Draw a
sword.
sword. Yeah.
If I saw the Ogier like that, I'd be like, wow, he looks so friendly and proper. So it wouldn't make me want to draw my sword, drop my book, and stuff like that. But I guess his part in this season might be limited to just a few minutes. So I get that. I don't know if you guys caught it, but I thought I saw Padan Fane when
Yep.
the
Mm-hmm.
I saw him. I don't
Yep.
know
The
if
hand.
it,
That was part of
yeah,
thing. Uh, knowing that the boys are in Tarvalan.
exactly.
Mm.
So now I'm guessing, oh, this guy's probably like that barmaid um who reports to the Dark One apparently. So I don't know. At
Ah,
least
nice
that's
catch,
something
Jay.
in my head. Because it was just a few seconds. I saw him, then he
Yeah.
starts laughing. That was when Matt and Rand were on the banister watching the parade, right? Um, this episode is quite emotional or heavy. So for those that are into watching it, there's I like the fact that when Lan at the end, suddenly this guy who's completely stoic, hardly winces with pain, suddenly cries out and screams with so much emotion that even Moraine starts feeling
Yeah.
it.
So
And
I want to
somehow, yeah,
pause
yeah, go
there
ahead, go
because
ahead.
I don't remember this in the book.
Yeah, I don't.
There was never
That's my comment with
a
Kat.
wake.
That scene itself showed them having more emotion than like 14 books.
14 books. Because
They-
Hmm,
but I do like the idea that the warders, the group themselves, it's like,
are
hey, bro,
close. Yeah,
we're not like maybe like we're stone cold killers. We're the best assassins in the world. We're the best warriors in the world. Even that, like, you grieve for us. So he is like, I my interpretation of that scene is he's grieving for everyone in the room. He
everyone.
because everyone knows that if you're an Aes Sedai and you're a warder, um like
you
yeah, you're
shouldn't.
gonna die, bro. Like
Hmm,
you're supposed to be in the front lines of a lot of these conflicts or a lot of the discovery, so you're not long of life. Well, you are long of life
true.
because like Aes Sedais can live forever with the power, but I mean, as a warder, you have to protect your Aes Sedai, and then you're kind of like you're supposed to be the one that's gonna die first.
Yeah,
So you're comfortable with death, but even with that, you respect it by assigning one person to grieve for everybody. That's I like that idea, but
the
it
weight of
also
all
kind
the
of
sadness. Yeah.
yeah, it kind of another a bit that was a little bit more departed from my because I'm almost the end of book 4. Lan in my head is the dopest badass ever. Like he's always cool, killing everybody, doing rounds. Like he will scout out, he will clean the tracks,
Double
come back.
back.
He's doing everything. Uh, yeah, I haven't. He had some scrapes and bruises here and there in 4 books, in almost 6,000 pages. But in this series, like he was tracked. He got Moraine Sedai stabbed a bunch of times. He
Mhm.
almost got his
Bye.
head chopped off too, and now he's crying. So I was like, it's a different take on Lan.
Yeah.
Than
Not a bad thing, just a
Then
sorry,
different
sorry to
just a
interrupt.
different type.
Mhm.
no, not at all.
I agree.
I also like that how the two of them are known. Their characters aren't really expressive. So at the
Yeah,
start of the episode, when they were all grieving the death of Kearney, Lan, and then he gets the emotion from what's the name of the
Step in.
step in.
Steppen. Yeah, Steppen. So he gets, he understands a little bit more after talking to Steppen, right? And he understands the value of protecting his Aes Sedai. So he goes to Moraine, kneels down, holds her forearm. She just looks at him. He puts his hand on the hand with the ring, and then they just hold, and no words were said, but that in itself is already comfort for the two of them. And whereas Steppen, however, and I understand this is quite real, you lose someone who is so important to you, and you have everyone telling you it's gonna be all right. You just need to move on, sign with another Aes Sedai.
Bond with
Everything's
another.
gonna be okay, you know? And he's like, I don't want to. You lose Moraine first, and you tell me if that's gonna be easy. And
Yeah.
that made a lot of sense. So everyone who goes around him says, "Hey, it's okay, don't worry. At least your dad didn't try to kill you when you were 12 or something like that." It's not about you. And that
Mm.
actually reminds us when we start comforting people who lost people. I'll be honest, I know a lot of people who lost people over the past years, but over the past 2 years. But it's not easy to tell them, hey, it's gonna be all right, it's good, no worries. You're gonna move on, right? And he got the most comfort from Nynaeve.
Yeah, that was. I
Not
was gonna say
from
that's a great line.
not from the tea, but he goes, when I'm just about to fall asleep, the pain goes away. And I was wondering, like, isn't that why you want the tea in the first place? No, he doesn't want to sleep because he doesn't want the pain to go away, because the pain is the only
Your
thing
mind.
left that he has of
Hmm.
Curreny. And then the best comfort he got in that entire scene, that entire episode, was, don't worry, the pain
Doesn't.
never goes away.
Never goes away. Never goes away. That was. I
And he's
mean,
like,
I.
So good.
It's
oh,
great. Great scene.
that was a great scene. That was a great
That's why
line.
she's a wisdom. I mean,
That is true. That is true. And I don't know, a lot has been packed into this episode. I know there's not much action. The most action you'll get out of this was when Egwene and Perrin was captured by what do you call it? Children of Light with
Child
Iman
Valda.
Valda.
Child
Valda,
Valda. Don't call me
right?
sir. Child Valda.
Yeah. And I still like him as a villain. I mean, people are annoyed. They don't like him. I like him.
That was his. I
He
think
plays
that's
an
his point.
awesome.
Yeah.
that's his role.
Plays
That
an
is.
awesome villain.
With
That's
the tank
perfect.
top, big
Yeah,
nice arms,
the
badass
best.
arms.
Yeah, dude, I love it. And then every time he's about to torture someone, he's fucking eating.
Eating.
So this time he was eating cuchinillo, which
Yeah.
is, for those that don't know, it's a young suckling pig roasted to
I
perfection,
want
I
some
would say.
cochinilla too.
I know, right? Christmas is around the corner. I'm pretty sure we have a lot of those coming around. And he's just vicious. He slices the back of Perrin just to torture.
Crisscross.
And he doesn't, and he's really evil. He's evil
Yeah.
with the sense of righteousness that he has. He's evil because, either you show me that you can control the force, or control, what does he call it? Channel.
Channel.
That you can channel, and I will kill you and set the boy go, or you don't channel and I'll kill him and let you go. You're like, shit, that's a lose-lose situation no matter which.
Cool.
Fucked up.
Yeah.
And at least he held true to his word, where he says, I shall remember your faces. That was, I think, episode 2
True.
or 1.
Yeah, too. I think.
2, right? 2.
Mm.
I shall remember your faces. And true enough, he did. Spotted them very quickly in that entire troop.
That was,
But-
and again, the
Yeah.
the proof that the Tinkers are very pacifist are shown front and center. Which kind of, I mean, I like that scene too. Again, now that looking back, this episode has a lot of good beats. Like,
It does.
yeah, the Tinkers, just being pacifists and saying that, yeah, they're one of us.
Mm.
We broke the same bread. We share the fire, so they're part of us now. So you can't take Egwene and Perrin. So cool.
Mhm. Yeah, awesome episode, and I'm pretty worried now that they only have 3 episodes left.
That's true. Oh my god. I'm timing it now because Hawkeye also has 3 episodes left.
Ooh.
Wait,
Damn.
Yeah.
Episode
4,
3.
5, 6.
4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
This one has 6, 7, 8. So they're
Yeah.
gonna end in the same week.
Whew.
Ooh. Oh,
That's
no.
gonna be a deep dive.
no.
Oh man,
No.
that's sad.
Yeah. Any last thoughts before we move on to the movie feature of the week?
Oh, for me, I just it's just a combination of the two of you. They did sacrifice some action for it, but in the end, I think it was better, especially for the non-readers. They did set up a lot. I just didn't like that. Again, the naive thing finding Rand was very very convenient. Uh, Loyal as well, and I'm starting to come around with Moraine and Lan showing more emotion here. I do love the fact that everybody talks about Moraine like she's the spy master. Like, you have secrets. What are they? Where are you going? What do you? What are you doing? She's
Oh,
like,
what did you do the
"Oh,
past
yeah."
2 years?
And then
Dude, she
uh
just doesn't talk. That's why they think she has
I
secrets.
know. So he's very smart too, but yeah, I do miss that. This was the point in the book, Jong, where Rand and Matt were actually in Camelin, and where they met Elaine. So
That was what I was gonna say.
that's
So
what I
I
was missing.
remember. So I got confused because there's like, why are they in Tarvalon and why is
Yeah.
he coming up the banister? Because I remember that scene where he fell over
Yes.
into the fucking queen's
To the castle.
garden
Yeah, the castle's
and then
garden.
was saved by Elaine. But I did realize that I don't think Elaine will be introduced in this season.
She's in the IMDb for at
Okay,
least one
okay, okay.
episode. So I don't know, but maybe she's just like an appearance or something.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's one. So yeah, I'm happy with the pace. I'm sure lots of people are having issues, but there's just no way to do it with as a regular series that many books, especially with all those traveling. But I'm happy. I can't wait. Oh, just for FYI, they did recast Matt for next season. I don't know why. They haven't really given a reason yet.
They
It's
Aw.
what?
kind of a bummer because he's really good. They changed the actor for Matt in
Why?
season 2.
Oh,
I
he
don't
was that
know.
Oh.
good.
Maybe it's outside stuff. Probably outside
Okay.
stuff. But
Oh,
I
well, they
just came
are
across that.
filming in Prague, so that might also be a lot of people tend to. That's why we see all of these characters apart from Rosamund Pike. A lot of these characters are not necessarily super known, and that's because fucking filming like 8 months to a year in
Okay.
away is might be difficult, but
I'm excited. But yeah, we can move on.
awesome. All right. At this point of the show, we did have a movie assignment for the week, on top of our week on week stuff. And we chose very, very wisely an artful an art flick with extreme depth.
Oh,
Venom Let There Be Carnage just dropped on video on demand last week. So I'm going to turn over the mic to RJ
I
to kind
spent
of give
20
us a little
bucks
bit
on
of a
this.
Gi-
Did you spend money
give a
on
little
this,
bit of
RJ?
I
recap.
may not have spent any money on this, but I'm
We'll
glad I
keep it
didn't.
blank.
Okay,
uh,
so Venom Let There Be Carnage released in 2021. It first aired out in London September 14, earlier this year, and was released 2 weeks after in the US, October 1. It's about 97 minutes, and their budget for this film was
110.
110 million
Fuck.
US dollars to make this artistic show of full depth. So Venom Let There Be Carnage, and as the movie posters would already give you a hint, it's not just about Venom, it is also about another symbiote which was born out of Venom, Carnage. So you've got some big names here. Of course, you still have the same actor who played Venom in 2018, Tom Hardy. You have Michelle Williams, who plays his ex-girlfriend Anne. Um, you have let's see who else was there. You have, of
Woody
course,
Harrelson.
the Woody Harrelson, who is the host of Carnage, and you also have Naomi Harris. If you guys can't put the her face to which character, she also played Tia Dalma in Pirates of the
Pirates of the
Caribbean.
Caribbean.
She was
Yeah.
quite awesome there. And I think she was also in they say she's in 28 Days Later. Yeah, she's that other girl there. So okay, so plot. Okay, here's the plot from Rotten Tomatoes. Eddie
Just go
Brock is
fast,
still
bro. Just go fast.
struggling to coexist with the shifting extraterrestrial Venom when deranged serial killer Cletus Cassidy, who is played by Woody Harrelson, also becomes host to an alien symbiote who becomes Carnage. Brock and Venom must put aside their differences to stop his reign of terror. Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm happy you
That
didn't go
already
recap.
says the entire thing.
Yes, it does.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. Okay, but you know what? Surprisingly, before I ask what you guys are saying, box office worldwide they did 470 million US dollars.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a
In the US
franchise.
alone,
It's a franchise.
holy shit.
What did it do in the US? What did it do in the US?
209.5
That's on
million
pandemic.
dollars.
That's pandemic
That
money. So that's probably like 400-500
people
Or
million
couldn't
yeah,
watch
double,
anything. Yeah.
in
triple
regular.
maybe.
Yeah.
This would have been $1 billion movie if it was not the pandemic. This movie would
I
have been.
so with that being said, Jong, what do you like particularly about this movie and what do you not like about it?
I love Tom Hardy. I love Andy Serkis. I love Michelle Williams in The Greatest Showman.
Oh yeah.
So okay, so the one good thing that I can say about this movie is like I didn't think it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It was active, it was entertaining, there was a lot of dialogue, there was a lot of like attempts at comedy with Venom and Eddie. So I appreciated that. But there's no support in anything. Like just the main fact that Cletus Cassidy got Carnage from a little fucking teeny tiny bite. So anybody that bites fucking Eddie Brock in the future gets a Venom in them. That's a little too weak. I wish they cleaned that up a little bit. Um, I I guess I like the confusing post credit scene. That's all I there's nothing funny. I didn't like how Eddie and Venom were, you know, they were trying to make it humorous on how Eddie feeds Venom, and Venom was way more funny than I thought that he could be, but still not consistent. Like a lot of his jokes about uh the chickens, and I can't eat chicken alone, or need to fight bad guys and eat bad guys, and yada yada yada. It was a little hit or miss, and that's more on the writing. Um in researching this podcast, I wanted to, read up on what they attempted to make, and there's apparently a lot of cutscenes about the broader symbiote universe, like because they did talk about 8,000 in the post-credit scene too. So like 8 billion light years of knowledge, hive knowledge, everybody knows about it, and Eddie only gets a little bit of it. And the reason why Venom is so cool, like so smart and can do a lot of things, because again, all the symbiotes share some hive mind, and then they wanted to touch upon that storyline, but they cut it because they thought it was going to be, and they shot it too. They shot a lot of it,
Mm.
but they cut it because they wanted to keep the story a little bit more concentrated on the buddy cop comedy of Eddie and Venom, and
Oh boy.
then
But
the
yeah, it
love
didn't
story
fit.
of, yeah, Carnage and Banshee, and then their fight together. Um, this movie is just like, it's messy. It's entertaining, I guess. Like when I didn't have adverse effects, unlike when we were watching the Prisoners of the Ghostland. Like this one was like, all right, you're hopping around, you're trying to be funny. All right, you're Carnage, you're killing a lot of folk and trying to get your girlfriend out. All right, they're both gonna fight and yada yada yada. Oh, okay, I can watch it. It's not like detrimental to my life. But it's too bad because like there's just so many threads that are all over the place that kind of was never really woven into a concrete rope of a story. And I'm gonna end with I've never liked how they designed Venom, and I did not like Carnage even more. Right, I've always thought that I hope they make it. I don't know how they will make it cooler or nicer, but I've never really. I don't like this version of
He's
Eddie
gonna have
Brock
a
or
symbol.
Venom.
I'm sure he's gonna have a symbol.
I just wish like Marvel just fucking takes over character design a little bit more because I don't feel these symbiotes feel
Let Feige take over
card.
everything. God damn it.
Yeah. It's just it doesn't feel. It feels too cartoony for me. Like even the way that he comes out of the clothes and whatnot. It's like it's kind of like a it is like I realize like their budget here is $110 million with so much CGI. And then what Red Notice had what 200
Mhm.
250 budget with very little CGI.
It's
So it's
weird,
like I
right?
understand like all right, drop another 50 100 million CGI to make Venom and Carnage look better, and then we might be a little bit more upset. But that's it. I don't have nothing else to say about this damn movie. Chubax.
Yeah, this was just meh for me. I mean, I didn't hate watching it, but I didn't I didn't have too much fun watching it. Cause like you hit it on the head. There's some elements that I would have loved. I mean, the only line he said about spawning Carnage is, "Oh shit, he's a red. We're
He's a
dead."
Mhm.
red. We
Like
gotta get
I
out.
could
We're
have, I
dead.
would
That
have
was funny
loved.
though.
I know, but I would have loved going deeper. How did maybe make it special? Why Cletus was was able to
Mhm.
survive it, or why there was a symbiote that was able to transfer to him. They could have made Eddie's fight with Venom the reason why there was a split that made
Mm.
Carnage. Not just a fucking bite. Like that's stupid. That's even more stupid than Nynaeve just walking in the garden and finding Loyal and finding Rand. Um, like it perfectly said, Jong, where it's funny at spots, but not just not funny enough. Like the club scene is my perfect microcosm of everything. Like when he got the mic and he started saying stuff, it was funny. But I was
Mhm.
expecting him to like drop a beat, sing or something. That was just like,
Yeah.
wow, I'm breaking down. But then he just says some stuff and he just walks away. Mic drops like, and they didn't even cheer. What the one of them like, yeah, nothing. But and then yeah, a lot of design issues like why is Woody Harrelson, why is Cletus Cassidy wearing 70s clothes or something? Like
Mhm.
he's not from the
The
70s,
Hawaiian shirt.
guys. He was a kid in the 90s or like was it 90s? He wasn't that
80s
old.
maybe.
Or the scene with, right in the when he was young with Naomi Harris, like he's not. I don't think he's supposed to be wearing clothes like that. And then the with regards to the how they look for you, Jong, I don't think it's the money. It looks good. It's just the design. It's just
The
the art
design.
design. Yeah, because to be honest, that fight scene it looked really good. The choreography was the 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 power using the use of powers was as bland as it can be. But the how it looked, it didn't look CGI to me. It looked really good. The execution of the effects itself. It's just what they were doing that was like,
Mm.
I mean, I think he was even more creative in the first one. Like the I have to rewatch it, but the suit use in the first one was more creative than here. Here was just he was just strong jumping and then using the goo to shoot. That's basically what Venom is. And yeah, you're right. I don't like the black with like white streaks.
Hmm.
It looks like jizz.
You mean on his body?
Yeah, it looks like jizz.
Yeah, that
Like
was really bad. It
and
didn't have the iconic spider.
yeah, I think that's
Um,
gonna come when he interacts with Spider Man. I don't think there's a reason for him to have it. That's why they couldn't. They couldn't
mm,
push it. But The only thing that really made me laugh is Anne, because she can. I love it when she can tell that Venom's wherever Venom is, she can tell
Yeah.
Venom. That was funny. Even
Is
with
Venom
the
with you?
yeah, like even with the what was that Mrs. Chen? Was it Mrs. Chen?
Miss Chen.
Yeah, Miss Chen.
Yeah, I
And
like
she
that
could
actually. Yeah.
that was funny. But yeah, Carnage. I kind of looked the design of like the design of Carnage, but execution was and how could he make that freaking tornado? That was so weird. Like out of nowhere, he spins and it becomes a tornado inside a building. Like it was so
Inside the
weird.
prison.
Oh, inside a prison. Yeah, it was so weird. And then yeah, Tom Hardy's funny enough. Venom's funny enough, just not really funny.
I think the execution was just meh.
Yeah, and the payoff
That was
was
really
there wasn't even a payoff with the lethal protector thing. Like they're trying to make that a thing. It didn't take. So weird. And then it's funny how the payoff of the whole movie is that the reason that Venom won was because they have a good partnership compared to
Mhm.
Carnage and Cletus. When
Carnage and Cletus.
the whole movie Venom was not even with Eddie because they were fighting. It's like that didn't land well, but yeah. So that's all. That's it. So for me, it's like a solid five, six, maybe 5, 4, 5
Yeah.
about it. And Eddie, what
I'm
a
a,
shitty person, huh? Like he could have just given the cop the information and then still wrote his story. Like
um
yeah.
that was so weird.
I read somewhere that the cop's character becomes some is also a
Yeah, a
comic book
symbiote.
character.
He becomes toxin, I think.
Toxin. Okay, so
I saw
all
that
right.
there's
Okay,
Oh,
a
they're
okay.
symbiote
setting it up.
symbol. Yeah, but I just
That's
like
why when they focused on him towards the
eyes
end
change.
of the movie, his eyes were like
I don't
blue.
know how though. Why? How? What did he bite
Mhm.
Eddie also when you're not looking?
Mm.
Or
Or Cletus.
did he bite Shriek because Shriek had sex with Cletus and I don't know. I'm trying to just think of something.
It's just hard to put things together there.
Or
Yeah.
maybe it's not even symbiote. Maybe that's what they're going with. You see, it's not a suit or alien presence. But yeah, if they went with that, because I think there was a big event in Marvel with the hive mind thing
Yep.
with the Venom.
That's why I
So
mean like Null,
I wish, yeah,
King of
I read
Symbiotes.
something about. I wish they did that. That would have been more interesting.
I think they will. I mean, the idea is like
Is that
that's a
like
pretty cool story.
the planet of the symbiotes?
Yeah, like they have a
Kind
king
of,
or
but the idea
something.
of like the symbiotes is um it is
I
so
didn't read it.
Null created the Necro Sword, the sword that you for the God Butcher in Ragnarok, but you know, yeah,
Oh
it
yeah, yeah.
is
Okay.
essentially like a living being, and then because it's kind of one of the older gods, like
Hmm.
splintered off into these symbiotes that kind of like spawn across the different galaxies. So
That's the one that Angelo guided me for my Eldritch Blast.
mhm.
Anyway,
Uh,
side note.
So you, RJ, what's your take?
I would give it honestly. The whole movie was. I would have enjoyed this if I were 8 years old. I think that
yeah,
was it. It was a movie that was really meant for kids with who would enjoy violence. It did not do justice to Venom or to Carnage in terms of the amount of lethality or damage that they could really do in terms of strike fear. Because how can you have fear against Venom who time to die? And I mean not him, us. We're gonna die. I mean, it's great that they tried to input the humor, but it took out the seriousness of Venom was supposed to be this psycho, uncontrollable, being that would just attack you or eat you the second it wanted to. But here it showed that he's hurt by his friend.
I think the
Oh.
problem here is they can't get Eddie. They want it to be an R movie where he's like a
Mhm.
little like the Punisher, but Eddie won't
Mm,
kill because he's a good guy, but he's a loser and he's an asshole.
Mhm.
It just makes him a loser. I mean,
yes.
I
at
just wish
least
they just like, you know what, kill bad people.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's my
Just
point.
kill
Like,
bad people. Eat bad people, so Venom will be like,
yeah.
you know.
Well, at the end, he let Venom eat Woody Harrelson's head.
And then that
At the
post
end,
credit. So is that
oh, sorry.
it's
I think
confirmed
that
that
was a
he's not
uh,
in the MCU, right? And then now he is.
spoiler. Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
That,
Well,
that's
yeah. So the post credit scene is kind of like a Wanda um multiverse splitting and changing of the place where he has been. So it
Mhm.
alludes to when Doctor Strange and Peter Parker botched that spell that they
so.
were trying to
The
do.
question is Morbius in the same world now, or was he left in the old
Ooh.
one,
Again,
or was he
I
in the
think
old
this
one and he
is
also gets transferred to the new one? Like that's so fucking convenient.
I think what happens is this is going to they made the post credit scene purposefully
Vague.
open. Like maybe he went to a different universe,
Yeah.
not necessarily the MCU with Tom Hardy. Tom.
Was that also done by Sony? Distributed by Sony?
Yeah,
Morbius?
Yeah.
more yes.
Okay.
They're trying to make their own cinematic universe.
I know.
Kevin Feige must be like slapping his head like, fuck.
Well, again, they need to just keep continuing doing this profit sharing thing. It's like, come on,
Well,
it's
Venom
fine.
made money.
I
So
know. See, that's saying I wish it didn't.
I
I
know.
know.
Same here.
It's my fault. I spent $20
Um
on
you added, that's why it reached that much, Chewy.
it.
Yeah,
But
you added to it.
you added to it. It's really again, so I really feel that a solid four for me for this movie. I am usually generous with giving scores, as you guys have been paying attention in the previous podcast, because I know we have loyal viewers. But this time, really, I just couldn't bear to even give it a five. It was entertaining enough um, to watch probably with a kid,
Mhm.
but if you know the character of Venom in the comics or of Carnage, they're awesome. They're like cool evil beings that would strike fear. Here, even with Woody Harrelson, I don't I respect him as an actor, but I don't think he was the right choice for this.
Fucking
For
Mrs.
what
Chen. Mrs. Chen wasn't scared of Venom at the start. Like, you know,
exactly,
no chocolate.
diba?
Like, what the
I don't know. I just feel that um the entire the characters were really played were made vanilla. They were supposed to be kick ass
Yeah,
awesome,
well
but
said.
they became very vanilla. So for me, because of that, and Maximum Carnage, which is where the comics, the series in the comics that this was really based on. That was exciting. That was gripping. I
Mhm.
didn't read every single one, but to show you how Carnage was born, made, created, and what havoc he wreaked into this movie, where it was all about breaking his girlfriend, and at the end just really not succeeding at anything. I don't know. It was really
Yeah, he's
an
supposed
hour
to be
plus
so
of
scared that Venom teams up with Spider-Man, right? Or
yeah,
something like that.
something to that extent. If I
Yeah.
remember correctly, I know that yes, his character Cletus Cassidy was supposed to really be he's a death row character, and then a part of the Venom symbiote after a battle, I think with Spider-Man, finds its way, seeps down
In the
into the
prison.
cracks and yeah, into the prison and finds him and bonds with him and he breaks out. Now, okay, he doesn't get it from biting Eddie Brock. That's what I can remember.
My God, that's
Because
so funny.
damn, then imagine how many mosquitoes would have had symbiotes in them right now.
I know.
Killer mosquitoes.
Ah,
Imagine that.
my God.
But yeah,
Uh,
so I really, again, it's gonna be, it was meant for the kids, and I think that's why families were able to watch it and enjoy it. The kids found, oh, it's cool. He has this big armor like thing, and he jumps and he can climb, and he has this goo that comes out. That's so cool. Yeah, kids enjoy. I think if you're gonna watch Venom with kids, go do it. I think your kids will have
yeah.
fun. If you are gonna watch with the brochachos, we're gonna watch something else.
Agreed. But that's it for Venom. Let's
Yep.
move
Yeah.
to our last.
For our last topic, this is on me. This is Hellbound, a drama series on Netflix. It
Hmm.
is based on
Webtoon.
a webtoon written by Yon Sang Ho. But this one is, if I'm not mistaken, uh, the director Yang Sang Ho of is the person that is also the director of Train to Busan,
Yes.
right?
He is.
So
He is. And
this
Peninsula.
is and Peninsula, so very solid Korean suspense thriller horror director, good pedigree. So main plot and very big beats. This is a world where uh unearthly beings, it's like big giant scary dark monsters,
Three.
um
Actually.
Three. Yeah.
delivers people who receives condemnation to hell. So a person in this world, presumably if they've done something bad, will get a pronouncement, like
Decree.
a decree, and that decree will let them know when they will be taken by these monsters to hell. So in that world, once that started happening, there is a religious group that was born out of this particular event in this particular world. So a new truth, the new truth, is kind of the church, the religious group that kind of helps and guides people to be better so that they won't be taken to hell. Of course, any religious group will spawn a zealot, a splinter cell of fanatics, and that's the arrowhead. The arrowhead will be a little bit more um, aggressive in terms of cleaning the dirt of the world. So they're the ones that would want to put instill fear or make sure that, if a person gets the decree, not only does the person have a hard time, but their family gets a hard time as well. So that
Yes.
is kind of like the two main sects that has was born out of the proof that this sort of deliverance to hell has been happening. As we move along to the series, I really do appreciate the fact that it's like a little bit of a twist. So there's the start of the series is about proving that this is really real. Once it gets proven, there's like institutions that starts forming around that particular belief. But now there's also other organizations that kind of helps protect the people that have decrees so that they can die in peace. So that's another small but very integral part in this particular series. So I'll hold this the synopsis at that for now, because that's essentially the
Mm-hmm.
world. People get decreased, people get delivered, people try to um dispel disbelief, people try to protect the people that get decreased or hide their identity, because when people realize that you have a decree, it means that you're bad, so your family is bad. So that's kind of the thing that they're trying to prevent. But we'll discuss our thoughts about the series to start, and then we'll probably end with a little bit of spoilers about the certain things about the series that needs to be a little bit spoiled if we need to discuss further. So let's start with, what did you think about the series, RJ?
I only watched until half of episode 5. So
Mhm.
overall, this has 6 episodes. The first two for me was quite dragging and slow. A lot of explanation.
Typical
Um,
Korean novella.
typical. And then suddenly they're gonna cram all the action in the last bits. But from what I can see, it has a good grasp of how society would react if this were to happen today. The chaos that would ensue, the fanatics that would arise, um, the people who will have a total disregard for the law. Because why? Why should I follow the law when you're not the ones who's really calling the
Mhm.
shots? You have an angel that will come. It will dictate where, I mean, not where, but when rather you're going to be brought to hell. And then there's nothing you can do. And I've seen throughout the episodes until at least half of 5 that no matter where you go, in a room, at the lake, in the water, they'll still
I
get
get you.
you. They'll get you. And it's not comforting because not only do they get you and usher you politely down hell's gates, they beat you up, slice you up, break
Mhm.
your bones,
And then burn
and
you.
then burn you alive. And you may think it's quite gory, or you may think it's a bit inhuman. Yes, it has to be because they're demons. Or at least you're bound for hell, and that's what you're supposed to. But there are a lot of dilemmas which I think we'll tackle later on for the spoilers. Because until half of episode 5, I still don't get how they select who's gonna go to hell and why. I mean, yes, I get it because they have sin, but let me ask you this: who isn't? Who
Mhm.
hasn't sinned at one point, right? Um, and you'll see how people react to it. The society reacts to it, especially the young ones, the very very young ones. They're not even old enough to be jailed, so they have no choice but to let them go. These are the ones who are beating people, injuring even elderly women who are sick, hitting them in the head with a bat. I mean, come on. And they're gonna say, we're doing this for God. It's hard. It's heavy to actually watch, because you're like, wow, how could a Korea K drama show that? Because normally, if you watch a lot of K dramas, which I know Chubax does, I don't know if you do, Jong, but um, they pay a lot of respect to their elders. So even if the villain or their opponent uh, is that person, as long as this person's an elder, they would bow and they would respect, even though they hate their guts, they would still do that. That's the general theme of most Korean series or movies, even in that fact. But here, they will beat up a cop, which means no respect for authority. They would beat up an elderly for I don't know what reason.
Just being associated with the person with a degree.
Exactly. It's just it's a surprise. It was real. It wasn't what I expected. Um, but that being said, it started to get better past episode 4. So some action was there. You're slowly starting to connect the dots, and you're starting to see, especially in episode 4 and 5, you're starting to see a central enemy. So at least I'm not so lost anymore in watching. But yeah, it's still all over the place. A lot of talk, a lot of heavy issues, but uh, I wouldn't say it's my favorite show, nor will I really ask people to watch it with me. But if you have nothing to watch and you like these dark series, for me, it's okay. Put it on. It's on Netflix anyway. If you have the subscription, it's part of it. Enjoy it. How about you, Chubax?
Uh, I don't know. This is a weird series for me. I mean,
It is.
from the reviews, a lot of people are loving it, are liking it. I guess I can see why, because
It scored high on Rotten
No, yeah,
Tomatoes.
what I love, what
96%.
Yep.
what I
What
really,
the
what I
fuck?
liked, what I liked about it is more of it's the mythology. Like
Mhm.
it's
Mm.
very cool. It's very smart, very mysterious. Everything you want in a mythology, but it's just that
Did they reveal the three?
no,
They haven't yet, no?
no,
Because I'm
Eh,
still halfway five,
yeah,
so
no, they don't.
I'm not sure what really
Mhm.
the angel head
Yeah,
is and what those three are.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
and
I'm still
then
lost.
I read a review, or not a review, an interview from the director where he's saying it's not about the mythology. It's more about the
The people.
no, questioning, yeah, like questioning the basic questions, the religion, sinning, and how
Mm.
to react with it. And
Mhm.
I don't know if it's just me getting old, but I see that enough in the world already. So it's like he spent 75-80% on ugly people, not ugly, I mean on
Sinners?
dark people, yeah, like really bad people. There's no
Mhm.
levity,
Oh, yeah.
there's no likable characters. I mean, I guess the cops are a little likable. I mean, the lawyer, but there's nothing that made me connect to them at the start. And then
Mm.
they just they did the opposite of what I liked. So I mean, they put the mythology there, but they
Mhm.
didn't focus on it. You know, it was just it was just a question to show what the others would do, and it was
True.
just slow too for me. It's just so slow and so dark. And really, how many times can you show three demons killing a person?
Mhm.
There's
In the same manner.
yeah, there's nothing new. They show it like what, four or five times, once an episode at
Mhm.
least. Like, okay, they're violent. They'll burn you. There's nothing revealing, and there's
Mhm.
nothing new in each kill. It's just another kill, and it's just another.
Well,
I guess they need something violent and actiony,
mm.
but there's nothing new with it. I mean, once in the water, but okay, another's
Wait. There
being.
was there was one new dude. The
Uh,
one where the person took his own life and they revived
I
him
They
know,
and
were
then killed him the same
okay.
that was
way.
dope. That was dope.
Yeah, so that yeah
Like
that
nope,
that
nope.
that was cool, but so that's one out of like six, seven,
I know. That was the
and
coolest one.
then there's just I already said about the lack of likable characters, and then there's a lot
Mm.
of unlikable characters,
Mhm.
like just no shades at all, like especially in the second half of the 4, 5, 6, like the new truth was just like really slime bags, like
Mhm.
nothing redeeming. I mean,
Yeah.
you can have a slime bag, but not all of them. Like everybody's fucking a slime bag. Like even that actor, the guy who was in Itaewon Class, like the deacon with the
Yeah.
glasses.
Yeah, that's right.
I
That's
thought
right.
there was gonna be layers to him, but no, he's just straight up an
Very
asshole.
simple. Yeah.
Yeah, and then going back to unlikable characters, that fucking Arrowhead guy. Like, can you get the most annoying person and just let him talk on the screen for like 3 minutes of monologue with
With neon paint.
that annoying
Yeah, yeah.
voice? And I mean, everything's annoying, from the voice, the look, the script. It was just
Mm-mm.
really grating to watch. And I don't know, I mean, the lawyer was, I don't know why, but the lawyer was hot in the time jump with the short hair. but
Mm.
but yeah, like I said, there were the mythologies. I like the twist in the end of the third episode. I like the time jump. I like the dilemma of the third episode also, with the
Yeah.
cop and Jong, the leader of the New Truth. I like the twist ending, the post credit scene. So everything I like is about the mystery of what's going on, the degrees and the monsters, but they were not the point. So I mean, I guess it's not. It's just personally not for me. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not what I would watch to have fun, because there's no fun at all. So yeah,
It's heavy. It's
yeah,
actually heavy. So
yeah.
if you're stressed and you want to distress, I don't think this is like the best one
This could
unless
be
you like
your this
hitting
could be
old people.
your nightly news, and you know
Mhm.
it's the same. It's not that different. So let's see
Yeah,
what
I
Jong
agree.
thinks. What do you think?
Yeah, so before we get to the spoiler territory, and luckily all of our episodes have timestamps, so you can skip to the next one if you don't want. Um, Contrary to what RJ and Chubax, I love the show.
I
I
kind of expect.
really,
I expected
really,
that.
I really enjoyed the show because they gave us something very normal. Like it's the usual thing. Like it's a series about how institutions and religion is a particular institution takes advantage of or can provide inspiration, but also
Mhm.
can take advantage of their followers. I love the idea that they went a step further. Like step further was um yeah, we always know the zealots, like the arrowhead. Yeah, that's normal. But the thing that I love is the organization that the former lawyer has built to protect the people that have gotten the decree. I was very impressed how they tackled that. So that was kind of it's not I would have never thought a series about a religious show to build um a faction that is not about fighting against them. It's not like religion versus atheists. It's
Mhm.
about, hey, religion
But-
versus like, no, we don't fucking care. We just want to protect the people,
Yeah,
right? You leave
that's
them
true.
be, whatever. So like, so I love that dynamic. And the twists that they have in the show was interesting. I did not expect it to start. That's why I was kind of like, all right, this is very cool. It's not without its flaws. Like again, Korean novellas or Korean KTV has always um it's always kind of like pretty horrible to have the first two episodes to be that slow. So again, I will always okay. There've been series that of equal and better character that can do that pilot episode like whack, like give me a solid show. The first two was again super slow, and I did not love the show until all the twists were unraveling. So for me, I like this if you want something a little bit more heady. Again, context is important in watching all of the shows that we review. You need to have very, very specific context here. You have to have an open mind. You have to have an appreciation for um, countries or towns or states that have a very strong religious presence, but also smart religious presence where it's not just like somebody says something and then I'll do it. You know, you want to be able to question a little bit of the theology of what you're thinking. So I really like that. Acting was pretty good as well. So yeah, you know, most of them are bad, and I hate watching things that are stressful. This wasn't super stressful for me because I kind of like, oh, that's cool. Like it's a smart idea. The only negatives, the non-spoilery negatives that I just want to say is like the decree, not scary at all. Not particularly impressed on how they designed the decree.
Mhm.
These three monsters that deliver people from Earth to Hell looks more like golems or like
They look
gra-
like gorillas.
yeah, green gray versions of the thing. So it's not super scary. It's kind of like a grimace with muscles. So
Yeah.
again, it's the design, but I think you know they don't have to spend too much of the design there because in the end, it's just they just want to be able um to deliver the punish and deliver person per house. So um now that we've gotten our opinions and provided you when or where you can watch it, we'll enter a little bit into the spoiler territory as we go um close out the episode. So if you guys do not want to be spoiled or you don't want to know anything about the series and you want to come in a you know in a fresh perspective, you can just subscribe and then go to the next episode or listen to our other episodes, but we're going to spoiler territory now. So the thing that I love the most about the series is it provides you the first two episodes was um, having to prove that these monsters, these decrees do exist, right? And that was cool. That was a good ride. So essentially, the first part was like, are these real? the second portion is like the politics and then the organization around this belief, right? And then the last portion is the one that I love the most. When we find out that these decrees are not necessarily like, yeah, hey, the decrees like you're going to hell. We just assume that you're going to hell because you did something bad,
Mm-hmm.
right? Right?
Yep.
I never assume. I never, that's the thing that kind of like made me impressed with the series. There's no reason. This is random, and the reason why that is because there was an infant that got the decree, not even having a chance to do anything wrong, and that infant is kind of like the crux of the last bits of the episodes. Conversely, and then doing it reverse chronologically, during the start, in the middle, or at least the initial person figurehead of the new truth, the people that were evangelizing the philosophies of being a good person, because if not you're going to go to hell. That person himself got a decree,
That's
and
true.
which they hid because they knew that if they realized like, oh, the figurehead of this new church also got the decree, maybe everything is a sham, so they were able to kind of like broker a deal. So even that portion too, they he brokered a deal to keep the secret and to pass the church along to somebody else, right? So that was like cool twists in, and those are my favorite storylines and story beats about the series. Why I actually really like this one compared to you guys. So passing along back to like Jay, like your favorite or not favorite storylines about the series.
Well, I felt that it was. I was annoyed at the people
Yeah,
in
yeah.
general.
A lot of
A lot of from the teenagers who break the rules
Mm.
to the people who started kicking the cop, and then when they found that the chairman was calling him, oh, it's the chairman, they start kneeling down and
Mhm.
praising him like a like he's god, and that's really annoying. um it's really, for me, it was really heavy. I didn't like the fact that I'm gonna beat this old lady senseless or close to death just because she's associated with a sinner. Now, question is, biblically, why pick the thorn out of a person's eye when you have a log in yours? That means before you judge someone as a sinner, sure, they may have been a sinner, but are you completely free? Let he who is free from sin cast the first stone. Yet these teenagers who starts hurting people, which, by the way, for those watching, that's actually a sin. To cause hurt and pain, to desire someone to be in pain. That's actually a sin as well. Now, to answer the question for some people who say that, but the infant was innocent. Why is the infant being brought to hell? Sorry for my dog. Um, to answer that biblically, okay, humans, we are all born, we are children of evil. We're children born of wrath. We're of this world. So that's the belief, at least from what I understand. We are born of this world. We are sinners. The original sin carried on from the very first humans. So technically, even a baby, it's not to say it's evil, but it's selfish. Why? Because what do babies do? When they're hungry, they cry. When they're uncomfortable, they cry. When they want something, they cry. They wake up mommy and daddy, not thinking about their sleep as well. Not saying that they should. I'm just saying innately we are evil. That's a school of thought in church. Okay. So innately we are evil, and hence that's why we need saving. So I'm not particularly surprised about the infant, but um I just, maybe I didn't enjoy the fact that I was exposing that series really exposed, um I guess, the ugly side of human beings, which we know it's there. And if anything like this were to come true, I I guess that this is a preview of what's gonna come. There will be fanatics, there will be lawbreakers, there will be people who just give up, And it's really chaos. That's probably it for me.
Chubax?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I love the twist. I love the mythology. It's just the journey. The journey that was really trying for
Yeah.
me. Like a lot of annoying characters, a lot of but yeah, like and then what was this? Like some also not so smart. Like the new truth on 456. They were just made of a bunch of idiots. I don't know how they were able to
Do you like the
like
hairstyle?
keep everything under a lid. They were like basically they were just what was that, spitballing, like, oh, do this, do that, oh no, maybe do that, like, oh my god. And they're the council, like they could at least be more organized and smart, but not a
Mm.
lot of yeah, they just showed the dark side. There's no not a lot of, like you said, Jong, that was cool, the Sogo company. That was like a nice twist, but then again, after one night of investigation, they already got caught. Everybody, their whole organization burned to the ground after one investigation. One guy got caught, and then I guess it's just, I don't know. Everything was grating to me. Like even the main guy in the 456, the TV producer,
Mm.
he was like, he was an ass. Also, even
Mhm.
like the scene where they bring him
Leaving
in.
your newborn to work.
Yeah, no, yeah, not even that. Just the scene where the guy brought him to the lawyer, and then they were discussing, and he was like, his initial reactions were always like contempt, but like these people are trying to help you, and
Mm.
he's just like mouthing off smart ass. And then when the lawyer said what she wanted to do with the baby, he got mad. That's realistic. I like that part. Like,
Mm.
yeah, I came here to do one thing, and you're doing the opposite. But before that, it was already like whiny ass bitch, and then I didn't like that. Uh, they built this up of the cop and the daughter. Smart. I like the ending of the episode 3, where he gave him the decision, and then they're gone for 456. They're not even a mention, or I mean, I want to know
I
what
guess
happened
that
to
was their
them.
decision.
Yeah, but
I
still,
think that was
like
their decision. Yeah.
I could have wanted some consequences with that. But
Mm.
yeah, and then as like I said, how many times are you gonna show the same murder again and again and again? So I don't know. I want to say I'm interested in season 2, but like the interview for the director said, it's not about answering the questions of the mysteries with the decree. It's just the how we react to it. So I don't know if they're not gonna give me more of the
Some
mythology.
resolution, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna keep me, but yeah, it's it's well done, well acted. Everything's great about it. Just the decisions just weren't for me personally.
Well, again, this is one of those, like, the reason why we do these shows, because you get a lot of different perspectives on the
Agreed,
same
agreed.
show. And it's always good to have like a series where we all align, we're all very high on, much like Wheel of Time, much like Hawkeye. But again, Hellbound is,
Good discussion.
it's like, I'm the end scene of season one again is again, we've done the spoiler alert, but a person that was burned by the decree coming back to life, right? So
Which
that's
make
also cool from.
I know it just makes me more pissed because the ending of episode 3 and the ending of episode 6 are really good. Like, damn good twist,
Mhm.
well made, well acted, well effects. It's just getting there that really, you
Yeah,
could have
yeah.
you could have done this earlier. The twist could have come in episode 1, like Jung's twist, episode 1, and
I
then
think, I was thinking again, pacing has always been the problem with, because this could have been one dope movie, one 2-hour flick. I would actually, that's the other thing. If this was a 2-hour thing where it starts off, maybe 15, 20 minutes of proving the stuff and then little time jump and then realize then like holy shit, it's the decree is random.
Mm.
And then but I do love the idea of like people trying to sell the rights to their decree to help other those are cool beats. But in the end is like I actually particularly like that I am not super stoked about the next season because
Me too.
I like pace. I like all right, cool. I don't want this to take up hard drive in my brain. Like what's gonna
Mm,
happen the next season? Like what? When it comes out, like I'll watch it. It's cool.
mm.
It's very that increases its points because it doesn't cause me emotional pain. And it gave me a little bit of like it's a cute twist. I like the twists. If this were 4 episodes, maybe better. If it was like one
Yeah.
2 hour movie,
Maybe
like a
I'd be
Train
my
to Busan
favorite.
hit. Yeah. But with that, this is going to be the end of this particular episode. A little bit of extra housekeeping is again, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell on YouTube so that you know when any of our shows are dropping in our podcast. We have 3 currently. We have reviews on Tuesday, our first D&D campaign on Wednesday, and we react to cool new content, trailers, and other drops on Thursdays. Uh, just search +63HP on that YouTube search bar or launch us from your browser by typing in bit.ly/+63HP. We're also on Twitter. So just search +63HP there at us. We'll reply back as quickly and as often as we could. And we are in every single podcasting network out there. So whether in your Google, Apple, Spotify, just search +63HP, and you can listen to us while you're doing your chores. With that, next week again, reminders if you want to join along the conversation, we're going to talk about Hawkeye episode 4, Wheel of Time episode 6. We will have the 14 Peaks movie that's suggested by our other brother Mark. We also did not forget we're gonna put Tick Tick Boom as one of our movies to discuss as well, but we're gonna pace that depending on how many drops that we have for that particular week. But that's still a musical that we will discuss because we watch everything in this show. Before we close out, last few goodbyes, RJ.
Well, I really enjoyed this week. It was a lot of good and not so good shows, but I think the pacing was just right for this episode for us. And I hope that all you guys, all you viewers out there, we're not the only experts who give you these insights, but um, we want you to genuinely enjoy the shows that we recommend. And for those that we didn't really agree with, don't worry. Hey, still give it a try. And who knows, you might like it. It's just, our opinions may not fit for everyone. But we look forward to having you guys on our next episode too.
Chubax.
Yeah, just hit us up, guys. Send us a tweet or a message, a comment on YouTube. We'll be very happy.
And we are again, I love doing these shows with my bros. I love discussing with you guys. I'm glad that we are slowly inching our way towards the goal of having our own custom or vanity URL in YouTube. And we will just keep on finding cool stuff to watch, not only for ourselves, but for you guys too. And remember, all of these is, watch it in context. Maybe Hawkeye is not for you. Maybe Wheel of Time is not for you. But hopefully we can turn you on to 1 or 2 shows, either in this particular reviews episode, but also in our reacts episode, so that you have something to be hyped about. So we want to provide everybody with an efficient way to spend their time with their friends and their family, or they're by themselves. And with that, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you on the next one. Peace.
Bye.